Walt Disney, an animated legacy.
If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish
A visionary whose innovative thinking, the belief that if you can dream it, you can do it, and the refusal to never quit pursuing his dreams, even when everyone said it wasn't possible, are the qualities that eventually led this man to become the leader in the evolution of animation. His pioneering technologies in color and sound, and inventions such as the multiplaying camera, paved the way and laid foundation by which the mind-blowing digitally animated movies seen today were made possible. It is these early historical achievements that enabled Walt Disney to establish a lasting legacy that appears to be forever sustainable. His undying optimistic spirit and passion to prove that dreams do come true enabled him to place a smile on the face of a nation who, due to the devastating economic effects of the Great Depression, had nothing to smile about, and later on, upon the bombing of Pearl Harbor by the Japanese, allowed him to assist in maintaining a sense of pride and confidence in the hearts of the American people as they and their family members went across the pond to fight for freedom in World War II. Today, a global brand and empire, Walt Disney's legacy continues to touch hearts and impact the lives of people in some way on a daily basis throughout the entire world, solidifying for him a seat on the podium of the most important or influential people in all of history. And some even contend, based on the number of lives the Disney name has impacted, that he may be the most influential person. Walter Elias Disney was born on December 5, 1901, to the proud parents of Flora and Elias Disney in Chicago, Illinois.
It seems Doc Sherwood, this pal of his, had a horse he wanted drawn, and Walt, well, why don't I let Walt tell the story in his own words?
I had two pals. One of them was Grandpa Taylor, who was a Civil War veteran. And another one was a retired doctor by the name of Doc Sherwood. And Doc had this beautiful stallion, Rupert. Doc had me come over one time and brought my crayons and my big cheap tablet, and I was going to draw a picture of Rupert for him. He was going to give me a nickel or something. But this day, I've never seen Rupert so restless. And I was trying to draw him, and I'd get one stick down for a leg, and then Rupert would turn around. Then I'd have from a profile, I'd move around the front view, and Doc couldn't hold Rupert still. So it turned out to be quite a mess, but he liked it.
At the age of 7, he started selling small sketches to neighbors and friends. In 1912, his family moved to Kansas City because the family had to sell the farm. In Kansas City, he would wake up early in the mornings before school to make newspaper routes. When Walt returned to Chicago, he attended McKinley High
Kansas City
School.
Star route.
During the nights, he
The Star
attended
route
the
was
Academy
quite
of
a
Fine
thing.
Arts, also known as
They gave me
Chicago
a
Art
small
Institution,
route.
to better
I
improve
must
his
have
drawing
had
abilities.
50 customers.
Later
I
on,
was
he and
about
his
9
family
or 10
moved
when
back
I
to
started
Kansas
that.
City. Walt continued to grow and develop in his talent for artistic drawing. Throughout his experience, he developed a talent for acting and performing. Walt would sneak out of the house at night to perform comical stunts against his father's permission. At the age of 16, during fall of 1918, Walt dropped out of school hoping to join the military. He then was rejected because he was underage. Instead, he joined the Red Cross. He then was transported to France, where he drove ambulances. After Walt returned from France in 1919, he decided to reside in Kansas City, where he landed a job as a newspaper artist and worked with cutout animation techniques to create advertisements. Walt studied and experimented with celluloid animation for a period of time. After some experience, he opened his first animation studio in his garage. He called it Laugh-O-Grams. This company then fell bankrupt in 1923. Soon after that, his brother, Roy O. Disney, Walt, and a fellow friend and animator combined their money and moved to Hollywood, California to create the Disney Brothers Studios. After some time in Hollywood, Walt made a success with his Alice comedies. He became a recognized Hollywood figure. 4 years later, in 1927, Walt created a mouse that started it all. Mickey Mouse made his first screen debut in Steamboat Willie, which was the world's first synchronized sound cartoon, and premiered at the Colony Theater in New York on November 18, 1928. The multiplane camera was an important part of Walt's legacy. This camera was ahead of its time. The Old Mill was the first film ever to use the multiplane camera. This camera used a special motion picture camera used in the traditional animation process that moves a number of pieces of artwork past the camera at various speeds and at various distances from one another. This creates a three-dimensional effect, although not actually stereoscopic. Disney first revealed his plans for Snow White in 1934 to his key animators when he gave each of his key animators 50 cents, took them out to dinner, after which he took them to the studio soundstage where he told them the story, acting out every part. Silly Symphony was a series of cartoons produced by Walt Disney Productions from 1929 to 1939. The Silly Symphonies were originally intended as a whimsical accompaniment to pieces of music and was great for Americans to escape the devastating tragedies around them. These cartoons were the first cartoons to ever use Technicolor, and they also used the multiplane camera. Walt Disney held the patent for Technicolor for 2 years, allowing him to make the only colored cartoons, which enraged other animators. Technicolor allowed Walt to bring vivid colors to the theater screen. This technology, along with the sound and the camera usage, won Walt his first Academy Awards of many. It set the stage for him to carry on with his dreams, and knew that he would be able to entertain the audiences with a full feature-length animation film. Impressed with Disney's telling of the story, the animators were at first nervous that the animated medium would not sustain the audience's full attention for a length of a feature. Many in Hollywood were even more skeptical, christening the project Walt's Folly. Even Roy Disney and Lillian Disney attempted to discourage Walt Disney from continuing with the film. In 1934, Disney estimated the film's budget at $250,000. Walt was forced to take a loan out of $1 million from the Bank of America in order to ensure that the film would be completed. Each foot of film was nearly 4 times as expensive as their original estimated price. Mickey Mouse cartoon, and the final price tag on the completed project was nearly $1,500,000. By 1935, the storyboard had been completed, and by 1936, the voices had been chosen and animation had begun. After nearly 5 years of production, from concept to process to reality, Walt Disney and the Seven Dwarfs was finally completed. The film premiered at Carthay Circle Theater on December 21, 1937, and was released in theaters across the country on February 4, 1938. Tickets for the premiere at the Carthay Circle Theater sold at $5 apiece, grossing nearly $200,000 during its first 16 weeks at that theater, and breaking attendance records upon its release at Radio City Music Hall. It was a smashing critical success, earning a place among the top 10 movies of 1938, according to the critics' poll released annually by Film Daily. The film won no Oscars, but the Walt Disney Music Department was nominated for the Best Original Score. The next year, Walt Disney received a special award presented by Shirley Temple, comprised of 1 full-sized Oscar statue and 7 miniature statues for his work on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which the Academy recognized as a significant screen innovation which has charmed the field. After its official full release nationwide and abroad, the movie finally grossed $416 million. Not bad for a folly, considering it became the foundation by which every animated film since has been made. Walt Disney. He is seen by many as the father of animation. Walt Disney did so many great things, from adding synchronized sound in Steamboat Willie to using the multiplane camera in The Old Mill, then incorporating color into Silly Symphony, and somehow amazingly combining it all together in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This allowed him to be recognized as the man he is today. People told him he wouldn't be able to do it, but he kept his dream strong through everything. His legacy is continued today by animators